Hey everyone, well, we are finishing up our in-between series as we prepare for fall. And what I did is I was really looking back at the things I'd painted and created and thought, okay, I'm going to take a lot of these paintings and cut them and create a collage. Because what do you do when all the things start adding up, right? You like some parts of paintings, but not others. So if you are also like me and you have a lot of things, paintings, you may have fun creating a collage as well. Grab some ModPodge, grab some of your old art, maybe some quote, and just start sticking everything. We're going to go through real slowly and I'll show you all the way through how I go from beginning to where it looks like a mess, but then hold on with me. At the very end, we put on some details that are absolutely gorgeous. And as we go into autumn, it really is wonderful to see how beautiful it is to let things go and to create something absolutely lovely. Okay, so as we keep going, I just stepped away for a quick second because I realized I also needed to get some paper towels. So you might want to have a couple of those handy. I'm just going to scrape off a little bit more of this gesso. And I'm just going to keep working around. Again, I'm going to look at what else I have here. I have another pumpkin that I think I might put in the corner. We'll just cut this out really quick. And where did the scissors go? We're just kind of really being freestyle here. So these are some other pumpkins that I had painted last year. I just realized lots of pumpkins. We'll end up doing some more pumpkin painting as well. I'm actually thinking of our color palettes can be a little bit different than what we worked through last year. And I think even down here, maybe I'll just put these guys right here. And again, knowing that they're going to be covered up with the gesso, I think I had said the saying that I just love is that Lucy Maud Montgomery saying, I'm so glad we live in a world that's full of Octobers, or that has Octobers. A friend of mine had given me that saying framed, and I just think it's so cute, and I do love October. It is just the essence of fall here in Northern California. Here it is, almost the middle of September, and we're still having triple digit weather here. So we are not exactly feeling fall. It's really all in our imagination right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put this picture down, this painting. This one had gone ripped up a little bit, but everything with the collage, one of the reasons I like collages too every once in a while is it helps me to let go of some of my work too. It's easy to hold on to things. I'm gonna use that someday. If only that had turned out this way. You can get into a lot of if onlys with art. It's kind of funny. And so just letting it go and also layering it, seeing all the different layers. This work represents some specific projects. The Psalm 23 project is what one of these flowers are from. Some of these leaves are from another project that I had worked on last year in the fall. And so it's just really neat to, it's a good thing I think to let things go as we look at these. And layering shows the accumulation of where we've been, right? And what we are moving to. Okay, so let's put some more flowers down. Let's put this one here, and I'm gonna just maybe set this one down. You can do that as well. You don't have to cover them up in gesso. I'll just set this one here. I wanna leave the blue one off, and I wanna leave some of the leaves off because those are going to be kind of what I crown the end with. So we're going to let that go there. I'll take the end. This definitely you get gesso all over your hands. So as you need to, go wash your hands and then come back and keep on going. This is a little more physical work too than painting, right? If you need just to smooth things down. The other thing too is if you have some paper, if you might want to put just some paper on the side. So I found this really nice gold leaf paper, and I might just take a little bit of that and rip that off, and I can put that over here. I might even just go just like this right in the middle there. And I'm going to get some more gesso, and I know it looks like a mess right now. I know it does, but if you haven't done this before, hold on until the end. And then I'm going to take another piece. I'm going to make it thinner this time, and I'm going to put it up here. We'll probably end up taking some gold pen work at the end too to bring it all together. But this is just a nice way of bringing some edges in. And maybe over here as well, over those pumpkins over on the side. And just layering these things down. So you can kind of start to see a shape and an outline take place, right? So now that I've got these initial layers, I've got my initial flowers on, I can even start just laying down some leaves over it that I don't want to hide up so much with the gesso. as well as perhaps the pumpkin, which I'll put these down here. These have a good layer of gesso, and I'll just kind of flatten those out. We'll end up covering them with ModPodge, so I'm not too concerned if they don't stick flat. And then I'm going to start taking some of the other leaves on the back and moving them around the page. Moving that right there. Again, it's hiding it quite a bit, but it will dry lighter than it looks right now. I have a paper towel that has a little bit of water too, and I can go ahead and move some of that gesso off. Okay, so that's looking cute. We've gotten this down. I wanted this yellow flower to show up rather nicely, and so I'm thinking I might put him here, I think, or possibly right over here, but he may not. We may do something else with him. This is a smaller flower that actually this might go on a little bit nicer. So now I'm going to just set on some other things, putting these leaves around. We're not going to cover them up quite so much. I'm going to let this one go up here. We're going to come back in with the ModPodge in just a minute here after everything dries. And I'm looking to see if there's anything else. I have this guy as well. And I know we're going to need something to center, for sure. I'm going to absolutely need something to center this and bring it all together. So I'm going to kind of figure out what that's going to be. I might put one more flower there. We can actually stick this one underneath the pumpkins here, and then bring this over here. And we're going to ModPodge those guys down. I'm going to bring this one over here. And then I'll have room right here for something in the center. I just am not exactly sure what. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back, we're going to ModPodge it down, and I'm going to have something to go right in the center of it. So I'll see you back here in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so we are back. Everything is drying nicely now. So this is kind of a fun project, I will say. If you could just do it in like bits and layers. So you work on it for a few minutes and then leave, you work on it some more and then leave, because we have the drying times too. So I will say one thing I added is I put just a little bit of gesso on these to give them a bit of an opaque look. You'll see at the ends. I also found some more paper. So like if you go to Michael's or the Hobby Lobby, or I have paper left over, I pulled out my fall stuff. So I just wanted to create some depth of some darker colors in between here. So we've done that, and you know, you can find with these things that you can just add things. You know, maybe I end up putting on some of those beads. I don't even know. I did find this from my previous, one of my previous sessions when I was doing some watercolor quote art last year, which we may end up doing again this year. And I am going to use this as my centerpiece. Now, I was kind of looking around too, thinking, okay, this is going to be my centerpiece, because I don't think I want to put it in the corner. I could, you know, I like to just kind of play with things sometimes and figure out where I want them to go. And then I thought, though, I think I am going to kind of put it mostly the center, since I had the leaves coming around. One of the other things that I might do as well is I will end up taking some raffia, and we're going to put some raffia around this. I have a paint pen, so when this completely dries, I'll be doing either some paint pen, or I'm going to find some gold paint that I have, and I'll be adding some gold paint. So again, this is a project in stages. And so let's go ahead though and grab the gesso. So what I have here, or ModPodge, is what I have, and I'm hoping that this is fresh. I think this might, oh, this is my old one. I have a fresh one. This is another one of those things. It's not expensive. It tends to dry out if I don't keep it nice and fresh. Also, I've got one of these guys that I'm going to use, and for the gesso, not the gesso, the ModPodge, it's gonna dry clear, which I love. So I'm going to start by getting some of this down where it looks like it's sticking up, and I want it to be flat. And it will actually do some work and effort. It will dry nice and translucent, not opaque like the gesso. And so that's why I was kind of leaving some of these out and not dousing them with tons and tons of the gesso. Okay, so again, I'm just putting these on. I'm going to put this one on over here. It doesn't look like it's clear, but it will be. I promise it will be. And just, yes, it gets all over your fingers. It does. It definitely does. and creates a little bit of a sticky mess. Okay, you can see too where a lot of things that I could have probably left off some of the leaves and brought them up a little bit more to the front. Again, I know they look opaque. If your gesso's wet, some of the gesso may get on there, so just be cognizant of that. Okay, I'm just gonna set this here. The other thing that I might end up doing is I had other painted pumpkins too. And so like this is the kind of a big one, but I might take some other ones, even some cut out pumpkins, and I might just add those in as well. I'm taking out one of these pieces of paper. I might even put the Oh Hello Autumn and just even in the corner, and that would be cute. I'm just gonna tuck this. Let me just show this, cut this off real quick here. You can see too, I'm pretty casual. I'm not terribly, when I'm doing these collages, it's really kind of fun to kind of not think about it too hard and just kind of see what happens. I mean, we could stick that up there. I could even put this on the side, but you know, we're just gonna put this on for stars. This is definitely my showstopper, right? So this is your showstopper piece, whatever's in the middle. I'm gonna go ahead, and I didn't put a lot in the middle, so that works out nicely. Yep, lots of things are getting covered, but again, that's part of the beauty of the collage, of bringing everything together. And honestly, I've never had a collage that turned out awful. I've had some that I've loved more than others, for sure. But again, I'm putting quite a bit of Mod Podge on here, putting this in the middle, and I'm gonna just take my fingers and really, you do want to kind of push it out, especially if you're Mod Podging watercolor paper, which tends to be thicker. Really get those edges down, and then we're going to go over the top with that as well. And so just moving this around. I'm going to link, I think I did another collage video that I was using a lot more like paint with last year. I'll link that down below too if you want. That one was quite different. So again, I know that you're like, oh, it's looking pretty opaque here, but it is going to dry clear. It really will. There's lots of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna take that paper towel and just blend that off. And then I'm actually gonna leave it now. I'm gonna leave it probably for about a day. Gonna smooth, I want everything to now completely dry. I want it to completely dry. And then once I see where it's completely dried, I'm gonna come back in with some gold, with some purple, with some mauve. It's actually gonna look really, really nice. When we put on those details, just like sometimes we do that detail work at the end. Again, even look how a little bit of orange raffia, or even if I get purple raffia, that's gonna be really, really beautiful. So hold tight if you think this is looking like a mess. If you're doing one too and you're like, well, I don't know. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be absolutely gorgeous. Just kind of clean up, make sure to put everything, tighten your lids on your jars so they don't go bad like mine do. And I'm gonna see back here, and well, in just a second if you're watching the video. Hey everyone, well, we're back. It is, I have waited. It's actually been probably, I did this on Saturday, we let it dry all Sunday, and we're back. It's Monday morning as I'm recording this. Everything's dry, and you will discover too, if you haven't played with Mod Podge, you really have to give it that 24 hours to dry, because everything felt sticky, but now it's drying. There's a nice gloss on it, and now I'm going to do the detail work. And really, if you felt like it's been pretty messy, this is where everything comes together. So right now we have the main, we've got our centerpiece, and now I just want to add some details to really make the whole thing pop. I like overall how this is turning out. I like the flow of things around it. I like how some of the flowers are sticking out, but nothing's overwhelming. But I want to bring a few things in. So I was playing with some raffia. I have it pulled out of maybe doing different things. I think I'm probably going to lean towards maybe the bow over here, but I kind of also liked just almost the casual. This might be too much. You can always trim it later too. So we're just gonna play with that. I've got my glue gun in the background. I find that the raffia adds just a little bit of something, but you don't have to. We might not want that at all. I also have some additional watercolor leaves that I'm gonna go ahead and use the Mod Podge to put on here. I just wanted a bit of a pop. And as I was looking at this, at the whole thing, I thought, okay, I just want a few more pieces of color around it to bring it all together. The other thing that I have is I have a gold paint pen. There's a lot of gold in here, and I want to bring out the gold a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paint pen, and I can start doing just some detail work. Outlining, for example, maybe on this leaf over here. You'll notice that it's not like it really shows up brilliantly, but the overall effect of just adding in some gold, for example, on my stem work, maybe a little bit over on the pumpkins, is that it really starts to just add to the overall pop. And that's what we're doing here. We want to make the whole thing pop, really focusing on the center. But a lot of times too, you may notice that, and well, if you've watched, I'll link to the previous one. I should have probably if I left a little more of this blue on the edge, that would have made it look a little bit different as well. And so I'm probably going to do another one of these. And you see on the side where that blue is over here, it really can look nice if you let that incorporate into the main painting, especially if I had more blue. So that's something I'm going to think about for the next collage that I do. But again, I'm just going to kind of add in a little bit of gold. We're not doing anything big, almost as if we're doing some detail work. If you've taken one of the courses with me, I always spent that last video session of doing that detail work, which I really think is super important. So you can even maybe over here where there's a lot of white gesso, I might even add in some more extra paint, and you can have fun playing with this. I'm not going to do a ton, just a little bit over here with the pumpkins. Again, that just kind of helps the whole thing pop out, especially when the sunlight starts to hit it. Now that I have that done, I do have my glue gun going for the raffia. I think I am going to put a bow, but I just wanted, this is where I'm going to be more strategic with where I put those final details. Earlier, I was kind of setting things randomly a little bit. It may have seemed like randomly, but now I want to be a little bit more careful of where I want these last couple of things to go. So as I'm looking around and looking where I want things to pop out, I think I'm going to just do, I think I maybe even just do 3. So not a lot. I'm going to once again, I'm going to grab that ModPodge. I've got this little guide that I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice generous amount of ModPodge on my leaves here, and then we'll end up letting it dry once more, but I'm just going to set this on. And again, nothing. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to put one right over here, and we're going to Mod Podge that on really nice. You may have noticed too with some of your other leaves that maybe everything didn't quite flatten out as much as you wanted, and this is a great time. You can either add a little bit of Mod Podge, or if like me, if you have a glue gun going, just put a little bit of a glue gun, a little bit of that hot glue, and that keeps them down nicely. But this will give us a nice shine towards the end as well. So again, I'm going to just put some Mod Podge here and put this guy right here. I'm going to grab my glue gun. This is just that finish work. And this is too where I maybe take a cup of coffee or tea and just sit and look at it for a few minutes before I before I turned on the camera. I just was like, okay, where do I want this to go? If I redid it, how would I do it? Because I'm always thinking of maybe doing another one. These I think are just really fun to create, especially in the fall. I don't know what it is where I just want to cut things and paste things, and I don't make these beautiful collages for the door, for gifts or whatnot. There's something about fall, maybe it's a little bit of a time of reflection, and I start just pulling things out, and I find that making collages is a wonderful opportunity for doing some good thinking. Even some just good memories. Okay, I'm going to put one right up here, a 2, and you can see too, this part of it doesn't take too much time. Really, the whole thing didn't take too much time. It was more of just taking the time and making a little bit more of a mess, because this is definitely a bit more of a mess than when we do our watercolors, right? As we cut and paste. A different kind of satisfaction. So I'm just going to set that there. I am going to grab my glue gun. I'm going to unplug it back here. It's been gluing away. And I am just going to add that bow, I think. And if you don't like it at all, not a big deal. You can always come back and take it off. And I just think it gives a bit of a pop. You could use gesso for the glue gun, but I just find that it doesn't really work very well. And then the raffia tends to come off. And so I'm going to move that up. Hold that down for a second. And I'm going to just let that go there. And this is longer, but that's okay. And then you might find too, if you saw anything that you wanted to put just a little bit of glue gun, you can certainly, just put a little bit of glue down there. That's certainly going to get everything to stay because the watercolor paper is thick. So once again, back over there, don't burn your fingers. And this looks really nice. I think this is lovely. I think I'm pretty much done with it now. So here we are, a couple of sessions later, done with our lovely, beautiful fall recollection watercolor, and our end of our in-between series as I move into the next series for fall. I think this is a great way of looking back and looking forward. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I would love to hear if you were making a collage and would love to see how it turned out. I'll have my link to Instagram as well so that you can send me a picture over there. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you very soon.